Hey everyone, so I'm going to take a little bit of time here in this video to go over the poem that you read for last week's discussion. If you remember, that poem was Metaphors by Sylvia Plath, right? So of course we were looking at the poem itself. What is it all about? What are, what do we make of this poem? I also told you that the title is a clue, and I was asking you to sort of look at some of the more poetic elements of the poem to try to help you figure out what it was all about. All right, so we're going to take a look at that poem here. Now, it's a fairly short poem, right? Again, the title is Metaphors, okay? You think, what is a metaphor? A metaphor is when you are comparing two things, but it's not like you're just saying A is like B. The comparison is so strong, it's almost like you're saying A is B, like they're the same. They're so similar. The comparison is just so strong. Metaphor is just a stronger version of a simile, right? So the poem is called Metaphors. What do we make of that? Well, it could mean that the poem is going to provide different metaphors, different comparisons. So I think our job is probably to figure out if that's the case. Is this poem really just a bunch of different metaphors? And if so, what are they metaphors of? What is being compared, right? So it starts off, I'm a riddle in 9 syllables. So a riddle is something that's hard to figure out, right? It's tricky and not always easy to understand. A riddle in 9 syllables. Why 9? That's interesting. It's an odd number to just pull out of nowhere. Why 9? It must be significant, right? Syllables. Syllables are the sound units that make up words. And if you look at that line, I'm a riddle in 9 syllables, that line is made up of 9 syllables. I'm a riddle in 9 syllables. That's interesting. I'm a riddle in 9 syllables. Something hard to figure out. The number 9 seems significant. And the line itself is made up of 9 syllables. Next line, an elephant, a ponderous house. So an elephant is a very large animal, right? A ponderous house. Ponderous meaning large, a large house. So something big like an elephant, something big like a house. Remember, comparison, metaphors, so the first metaphor, the first comparison is whatever this thing is that we're comparing. The first thing it's like is a riddle in 9 syllables. The next thing it's like is an elephant, a large animal. The next thing it's like is a big house. The next thing it's like is a melon strolling on 2 tendrils. So if you imagine like a watermelon, that shape, with these 2 little tendrils for legs. So whatever this thing is like a melon strolling on 2 tendrils. Oh, red fruit, ivory, fine timbers. That line is just a reference back to the 3 things that she has already compared it to. Red fruit is the melon, ivory is the elephant, timbers is the house. This loaf's big with its yeasty rising, right? So a big loaf of bread that's getting bigger and bigger as the yeast rises. Money's new minted in this fat purse. So money, it gets made in a mint. So when we make money, like coins especially, they are minted, right? So it's something of value, money, that has been newly created in a fat purse. Okay. I'm a means, a stage, a cow and calf. So I'm just a means, like It's not really about me. I'm just something that's being used to get to the final product. A stage. A cow and calf. A cow and calf is a pregnant cow giving birth to a calf. I've eaten a bag of green apples. What would happen if you ate a bag of green apples? Not like green like Granny Smith. Granny Smith apples are supposed to be green. Green apples means like they're not ripe, they're sour, they would give you an extremely upset tummy, probably make you throw up. At the very least, you would be nauseous. Boarded the train, there's no getting off. I am on this ride now. There's no turning back, right? So these 9 lines contain images and ideas that are supposed to be metaphors for something. There are 9 lines to the poem. We already learned in the first line, I'm a riddle in 9 syllables. 9 must be a significant number. There are 9 lines to the poem. Each line is made up of 9 syllables, not just the first line, right? An elephant, a ponderous house, a melon strolling on 2 tendrils, O red fruit, ivory, fine timbers. Every line is made up of 9 syllables, 9 lines to the poem. The poem's title is Metaphors. The word metaphors has 9 letters in it. All right, so now we know without question, the number 9 means something. What part of life that most everyone would be familiar with has 9 as a significant number that might be compared to being something like a riddle, something that's hard to understand, something that's, is related to being big like an elephant or a big house, or look like a melon strolling on 2 tendrils, getting bigger and bigger as something grows, right? Creating something valuable in a fat purse, compared to a cow and calf, compared to feeling nauseous or throwing up because of something you've eaten. Something that once it's started, you are on that ride till it's done. If you haven't figured it out yet, every single idea in these lines, they are all metaphors for being pregnant. I'm a riddle in 9 syllables. That's why the number 9 is so significant. I'm a riddle in 9 syllables. An elephant, she feels big like an elephant. A ponderous house, she feels as big as a house. She feels like a melon strolling on 2 tendrils. That's what she thinks she looks like. This loaf's big with its yeasty rising. The baby is the loaf, the bun in the oven. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? The baby is the money. The baby is being created in this fat purse, right? So her womb. She's a means. It's really not about her. It's just about the baby. She's just the oven, right? A stage, a cow and calf. I've eaten a bag of apples, boarded the train, there's no getting off. So, yeah, they're all metaphors for being pregnant. And she gave us a lot of clues. The biggest clue being that the number 9 was significant. And then if you sort of put it all together, that each of these images, each of these ideas are all metaphors for the same thing, something that, where the number 9 is significant, then you can start to connect the dots and realize that this whole poem is about being very pregnant. And some of the images are fine. Some of the comparisons don't seem quite as pleasant. And it's not really a commentary on pregnancy or bringing children into the world or anything like that. It's just how she feels in those last few weeks of her pregnancy. And for many women, that is not a fun time. you can be quite miserable. You know, so that's what her poem here is about. Right? Okay. So if you have any questions about the poem that you don't feel comfortable or don't want to wait until you do your journal entry, if you have something that you really want to comment about or talk to me about right away, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and complete the journal for this poem.